Julie McKnight on the program. Welcome,
Hello,
y'all.
y'all.
And y'all, we know you, Julie, and we love you, and we miss you so much.
Oh, I miss y'all. I do.
What's going on down there in Raleigh?
Everything.
Yeah.
We gratefully, missed the double hurricane. So I'm still praying for all that it did get a hold of. But,
Mm.
so far, so good here.
Well, good. We are supposed to get some rain in the next couple of days, but it's not going to
Yeah.
be hurricane rain, but it's
Yeah,
going to be
not too
wet.
bad.
So we're back here for officially episode 7, unofficially episode 6, because I snuck in before you with Plunky last week. He caught a hold of me and I said, I'm gonna take this opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
We had a really great chat about history of music, and not just
Yeah.
history, but history of technique and of song and of idea.
Yeah.
We stuck to this theme of improvisation, which I loved, and we got to hear him play what he made up on the spot, pure, raw,
Wow.
real improvisation. You got some little clips of jazz tunes you recognize.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that was Plunky reacting to the conversation and to the space, and that was great.
That is awesome.
And so we're with Julie McKnight, continuing our discussion about music and about history and about past. We have been loving on the experience of Black people around the world, but particularly in America, as we discuss really what is American music and American art and American love. So tonight, Julie, I wonder if you would, before we get into our discussion, I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit more about who you are to those who maybe have not yet had the chance to encounter you. And also, this is your inaugural jazz event with VMFA. We've had you at lots of others, but not on our coveted jazz night. So who is Julie McKnight?
McKnight.
Yes.
And I will tell you, it'll give me a reason to have to sneak back up with y'all and sit in with the band I've been listening to.
Oh, you better. I've got lots of musicians that need to meet Miss Julie McKnight.
Man, let me tell you, it has been awesome. But yes, I am Julie McKnight. I'm a mommy, a grandma. And I happen to do a little singing here and there and overseas, which we're not able to do now. But 2021 is looking like we're going to get back to work. It's opening up gradually, but everybody's kind of taking a break now. So here in the States, it's just been a lot of studio. When I'm still preschool teaching, thank God I've been able to be there for these parents who have needed to send their kids back to school. And, we're just a community that's working together, working. I left the class and came right outside to the park out front and clicked in with y'all. But I'm in love with the museum family, and I miss y'all so much. So I don't care if I have to put on a mask and face shield and everything. I'm making my way up, and we're hanging out with the band.
I'll tell you, Julie, we're missing you, and we're still buzzing since the installation of the Kehinde Wiley sculpture. And those of you who were there for that got to experience Julie the last time she was with us performing for that party, and that was a night.
So amazing.
Rumors of war.
It's coming back. We're going to be back.
You are going to be back. Especially, we're going to get into the conversation, y'all, but we have to, because I admitted day one when I introduced you to Julie, and in this process of here, that people in this show are dear to me, and you know that Julie is my cousin.
We look nothing alike, do we?
That's nothing alike. All that we're the same. And so I bring that up right now, even though I say you already know, because September 4. Next week, that's next week, Ju.
Yeah.
September 4, Julie McKnight's oldest son, Brian McKnight Jr.
Yeah.
Takes to our programming for the first time. Now, I wish he were taken to our stage, but he won't be virtual like this from his spot there in LA, and I can't wait. And I know you can't wait to hear what BJ's got to offer that.
I cannot wait. I'm excited. But you know what this is doing? Even though we are virtual, even though people people are getting to meet each other.
Yes.
They're getting to get to know each other. And when the time comes where we are able to do a reunion of sorts on a night or do some series there back at, the museum or back in Richmond, folks have already gotten to hang out with us a little bit. So,
Yeah,
you know,
and
we
a
can
few
make it.
episodes a few episodes ago, we met Victor Brooks.
Yes.
What can you tell us about Victor?
Well, Victor's my brother.
Oh, it's out. Is that how that worked out?
And I am one of his biggest fans. And I have to thank him for instilling. I had the love of music growing up because our family is just a musical family. But my brother really had me pay attention to the different areas of music. You can like who's singing, you can like the beat, you can get to know that the songwriter is this person and the producer's that person, the history behind that song and the era these songs were written. And it makes you it's a different love that you have for it than you feel, that, and then you follow that person, and that writer or producer or whatever will lead you to more music and more stuff. So my brother Vic did that for me, aside from throwing me on stage for the first time ever. So I'm glad about that.
Your
He's the first one to start taking me around the world.
your brother Vic, my cousin Vic. I was in my early 20s. I think 21 or 22. And Julie, I remember how I got to Los Angeles. I don't know who put me on a plane because I didn't have any money. I know I didn't fly myself.
It's probably your Uncle Victor.
Probably. I didn't fly myself from Virginia to Los Angeles, but I got to LA
That's
and
right.
spent a couple weeks with Vic. That's when I met Wayne and Wanda and all that.
Yes.
And I watched him interact with musicians who would sometimes, just occasionally, say something to him that he didn't know anything about. And Vic would always say, "Oh, educate me on that."
That's right.
And I watched him learn, and I learned right there next to him, and that's been my habit. If
that's
you
what it's about.
Catch me unequipped, okay, teach me.
Teach me. That's what it's about. And it can be youth, it can be older, it can be whatever. You can always, I learned so much from my boys.
Yes.
They introduced me to amazing music, amazing artists. And I mean, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Who's this? Or tell me about that world music. So you keep learning. You got to be open.
Well, so we're discovering music on this journey, and I've told you that I started on this path because my audience was asking for an education.
Yes.
And so I thought, all right, well, we're going to talk about some stuff.
Yes.
Today, I want us to learn more about protest music.
Yeah.
We are in in world history, in American history, we are in a rough chapter right now. Those of you watching this in days to come. And the events of the past, well, hundreds of years, but we'll think more closely the past few months and even more recently the past few days.
Right.
Set us on fire again.
Yes.
And we've talked throughout this journey about the artist's calling, responsibility, opportunity to document, record, to archive moments like these.
Yes.
I think when I think of protest music, we've talked about this, Julie, I think about the American Revolution first.
Yeah.
And I think about Diddy songs to think of right now, like Yankee Doodle being a song brought to the soldiers, by the British soldiers, and the American soldiers adapted. And protest music, of course, existed before then, and it exists now, and it exists in a strong way in this conversation. So we start with Strange Fruit. What can you tell us about protest music and its impact overall, but in particular through the history of jazz and of Black art in America?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have to throw everything back to my family. My parents were activists, man. If you were marching, if you were doing anything, my parents were doing that with you. And so our house was filled with music that applied to the times. So, I mean, even from, I'm a 70s baby. So I remember in reference to the jazz portion of it, I knew that there was something going on in the world if I heard Miles coming out of my house. I mean, because my dad was getting it out. Miles was, even in his music about love. But I knew that, oh, there's something going on right about now. If my dad would my mom, we hear a little, has anybody seen my old friend Martin? I knew, okay, he's
Woo!
coming out of it now. He's
Uh-huh.
easing out a little bit. Have you told me where he's gone? Even that, it was pop, but it was still a protest song. And I think a lot of times some of our Bob Dylan, that's rock. See, my brain is all over now from what I was hearing in my house.
No, but
But
it's protest music. Let's get into all of
it
it if we
was
can.
it was still protest music, and it was music that all races were recording. All,
Mhm.
the way you see our marches look now, that's the way our artists were doing back then. I don't see that as much. Where I hear, our caucus, Jose Feliciano, he did protest music in 60s and 70s. And that created a family across lines as well. And our jazz, because you got to remember, a lot of our jazz musicians were doing the bulk of their music and getting the bulk of their love overseas.
Yeah.
So once they saw what was going on at home, yeah, they'd come on back and they would make the music. But then even in the UK or in France, or if they were they were speaking for us there, where they clearly saw they were more accepted than even at home.
Hmm.
And I whether it was Josephine Baker or Eartha Kitt, or who you can't ever forget about is Nina Simone, and her. I heard her in my house all the time. She was blended in with everything, but when you wanted her, it had to grab you. You felt what we were all feeling just from her singing and playing the piano. I mean, so I know now that I don't see that with us and our protest as much now, that music drove our crowd,
Hmm.
and even through it being jazz, they were still doing the shows, they were still doing all that, but the music felt like protest.
Right.
And I know I feel like I know we're missing that now. Maybe we get to work, buddy, and we're gonna write us some protest music. You
Julie,
know?
we were on the phone the other day and you were saying, that we're missing some new blood giving us these messages.
Yes, we
And
need it.
a long time ago, Julie, 10, 15 years ago, Eva and I wrote something.
There you go.
I'm going to share with you.
There you go, cousin. I'm telling you.
I'm going to share with you. Shots ring out as the blood hits the floor. Meaningless violence reaping one more.
Yes,
Countless die from someone else's war, and riches favor the wealthy. I'll share that. We have a show to do right now, but when we get off of here,
that's protest music.
it was then and is now. And it's
Well, I
amazing that
mean,
it was,
that's what it's about.
and we wrote it then, years
See?
ago. I was youth.
And it's
And
sad that it still applies. It's sad that it's still so relevant today.
maybe even more.
Maybe definitely more.
Maybe even more relevant.
So
So I
there's
want to I
coming
want to talk
soon.
about. Go on. What you saying?
I said, I'm telling our family there's, so here's one coming soon.
Coming real soon. Julie McKnight and Robert Fernard. And
Yes.
we're not going to break all the leads today. Not on this call, but
We
there's
won't do all of it.
Julie.
Yes.
My skin is black.
Oh,
My
yeah.
arms are long. My hair is woolly. My back is strong.
Yes.
Strong enough to take the pain inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name is Aunt Sarah.
Yes.
Skin is
Yep.
tan. My hair is fine. My hips invite you. My mouth like wine. Whose
Yeah.
little girl am I? Anyone who has money to buy. What
Yeah.
do they call me? My name is Sweet Thing.
Mhm.
My skin is yellow, my hair is long. Between two worlds I do belong. My father was rich and white.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
forced my mother late one night. What do they call me? My name is Saffronia.
Yeah.
My skin is brown. My
Mhm.
manner is tough. I'll kill the first mother I see. My life has been rough.
Yeah.
I'm awfully bitter these days because my parents were slaves. What do they
Yes.
call me? My name is Peaches.
Mhm.
What are those words?
Those words are from the amazing. I almost wish I had another word other than song for it, but that's for women.
For
That's
women.
Nina. That's for women. And she, in that span, covered all of us. All of us.
Mm,
Every one of my sisters that fit into my rainbow of Black women. She covered us.
I think she absolutely did. I think that while For Women tells us about the struggle and the pain and the beauty
Yes.
of Black
Yes.
women, I think it tells that same story, or that same story is told with all women. I think that's
I
just the
totally
story
agree.
of
I
women.
absolutely agree. It's just a story of women. It was her segment because she spoke from where she comes from,
Hmm.
but it every woman is one of that, or has been all of them at a time.
Or
So
maybe is
that's what
now.
that does. That's why it's so amazing. It's all of us, all
And
me
and
and all my sisters.
and that's some of the beauty I think that I find in protest music is that it mm, entertains us. Yeah, I mean, I like to hear For Women. I'm certainly, if it comes on, I'm in there with you. I'm entertained and
Yes,
I'm moved. But it
yes,
paints a picture, it tells a story, and it makes us focus on what is
yeah,
really real and happening now. Um,
absolutely.
and Nina's not the only, and Jazz isn't the only. I think about some more recent protest music, the music of the 80s and of the 90s, and oh, a little truck coming by.
I'm outside, y'all.
80s and then 90s, I think about rock and roll and hip hop and the messages that they were giving us not very long ago. We're
Yeah,
looking for a little bit
yeah.
right now.
No, you're right. You're right. I think I not I know that the bulk of I'll be 50 in a few months, and I can recall having protest music that came through hip hop when I
Hmm.
was in high school. They spoke about and again, what were they speaking on? Same thing we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
So, same thing. I went to high school and graduated proudly out of the only performing arts high school in South Central LA, George Washington Preparatory High
Oh.
School, 127th Street,
Getting
and
them
that
shout outs in.
I gotta give it to him. But that's what we dealt with this.
Yeah.
We dealt with it. So our artists, whether it was Cube, or I was on the West Coast, or whether it was Snoop, or whether it was DJ Quick, or whether it was, they were telling our stories about police brutality and the prejudice that we were still dealing with there. Our family back east and up north, whether it was Tribe Called Quest, or whether it was Public Enemy or Chuck D, you got your protest music in hip hop.
So
You know,
Julie, that that interests me in a comparison we've never talked about before, but
yeah.
were there any similarities or differences, or did it even spark a thought in you at all? Your conversations on this topic with Nina Simone, all those months she lived with you and the
Yes.
family, and was there similarity between conversations you may have been having with somebody like Tupac?
Well, I'll tell you
Did they say
what.
the same things?
They were saying the same thing, but I'll tell you a major difference. The gift that I was given to have lived under the same roof when Miss Nina, niece, for she slaps me upside my head from the other side. Miss Nina, who I graciously gave my bedroom to, and watched help my grandmother cook or whatever, even on the nights when she wasn't being the queen, and my grandmother would have to put her in her place. And no, you're not. I don't care who you are. You have a seat, Nina Simone. Because that was my grandma. That was our grandmother. And who was all about doing right, treating people right. She'd get so mad at things, man, and she, in her own way, would recite poetry that was about, in its way, protest, and in its way, being strong and fighting. And she would recite these things, man, like she was in front of a mega church. And so we heard that, but in conversations with Miss Simone, it was more just listening to her experiences and what she had gone through, which is why you felt that passion come out of her music. And she was living in it. The things that she was writing and singing and talking about, I do equate that to the stories from the streets that our brothers and sisters would have to tell. They weren't acting. This was their lives. And it was dangerous. If you go back, and lining that when you mentioned Tupac, his music now, if you go back, I wish I could think of the guy's name. If I think of it, I'm going to send it to you later tonight, cousin, so you can reference it. He did a string of quotes from Pac's catalog, dead on where we are now. It's dead on. Every inch of it, and even with him saying, this is going to happen if this doesn't change. We're going to be here if this doesn't do that. So a lot of that we heard from, even sitting around with my dad and my uncles and my aunts who, from all walks of life, who were dealing, because, our family is from the highest of yellow down to the most beautiful chocolate. Yeah. So we could all had our experiences in racism, and thankfully we had our elders who had marched and who did protest. We heard, the history of, our university, Oakwood College, the Aeolians through Alma Blackman. You cannot get any more protest music than that Oh Freedom album, which, another plug, my daddy, your uncle, executively produced.
I knew I always had Uncle Victor in my mind right now. So we're going to talk about
it. Set up the first tour that an HBCU college university choir had ever done, and it was strictly protest music. Please, Oh Freedom, come on.
Julie, I talked to Uncle Victor about that a couple of years ago, and and he was telling me the story, and I don't remember what the project I was working on was about. I don't remember what it was, but I remember just doing a vague research and finding government documents with my uncle's name all over them for this very tour, ambassadors and kings and whatnots.
Yes. That's what I heard. So and Alma would take it was spirituals, but she coming back to that jazz, her ear and her genius. You heard those chords, you heard them come through. You heard amazing.
That's Oakwood sound.
That exactly.
You sang through it. My mom was there. Fresh on the heels of Uncle Victor when that sound was coming together, being developed and being a part of it. And we still hear that sound. We play a Take 6 record.
That's right.
Here comes that Oakwood sound out, that harmonies that come through, the smooth sound.
Yes. Oakwood was a college, because I think it was so close knit then. that it was your family. So
Right.
as they were wearing those dashikis, and as you know, like Dad would say, even if they were sneaking to play their jazz in their rooms or reach out to the real world where the protests and all were going on, music is what still tied all of them together as well. That's why, I'll say again, I do miss that we don't have like that song. We had Rise Up, we've had some, and they were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many artists, there's so much talent that now we could have those songs again.
And
What
like you
about
said
protest?
earlier, Julie, here we are.
That's right.
Here we are,
And
cousin.
we're gonna do it.
Open up our phone books and just,
Say
it's our
something.
fault. What are we waiting for?
You know what? You know what, cousin? That is the truth. Because right now, with the time that has been had, because I've heard a lot of the younger people say, and I can understand it, I can hear them say that, well, we don't want to sing, the "We Shall Overcomes" again. We're tired of doing that. We get that that's what y'all march to. You are not going to hear any of them sing, oh, freedom over me. And you know why they're not? Because they're not going to want to say, and before I be a slave, I'll
Mm-hmm.
be. We still are, though. But we still are, though. We still are. You don't have shackles, and you're not being whipped into doing something, but they're killing us.
And even
You,
though, and you're right, even though, we don't want to, maybe we find them, I don't, I think love them, but maybe
I
they're thought of as sleepy songs. Now there's
I
still
do.
power
I
in them.
absolutely. Yes, cousin. That's what. But imagine when you have felt singing that with a group of people who are with you. We can march down the street all day and fight the powers that be. Okay, that's great too. But there's something that's in your DNA that you cannot deny. Those songs, I still think they should be respected and sung because of who sang them then. And
You
you'll
know,
feel it when you sing them.
you'll feel it when you sing them. You'll feel it when you hear them. You'll feel
Yes,
it when you study them and dissect them. Julie, I'd asked you weeks ago, and I've advertised that tonight we're going to ask you to sing Four Women, but I'm
yes.
digging on this conversation, vein of conversation right now, and I wonder, I've already recited the words to Four Women. Would it bother you terribly if I switch it up on the last minute?
No,
You give us,
that's what it's about.
could you give us
I
just
mean,
some a cappella garden bars of Precious Lord?
yes, I can. Yeah, I absolutely can. And which was one of the ones that was often sung before many marches.
Hmm.
Um,
One of
Sunday
Martin Luther
service,
King's favorites.
one of his favorites that Mahalia would do for him as well. It's a protection song,
Hmm.
and that's a lot of the time the reason why it was sung before. I can absolutely do that for you.
Give us a little Precious Lord, and then next time. But now, Julie, I'm gonna tell you, next time you're here with me, I'm getting to a piano, and you're gonna give us Four
Let,
Women, you two of
no,
us together.
let's do that together.
Together, I'm gonna play it right for you.
Yes. Oh, cousin, absolutely. No,
If I
we're gonna
can.
do that. We'll do that. No, we're doing that. See,
Good.
that'll work out even better.
I love that, cousin.
That's
Need you
cute.
back up here. Well,
Yeah, I
cousin,
know.
I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna
Okay.
let you serenade our listeners. They've heard enough of me, and we'll chat a little bit more on the other side of this little tune. But y'all stay in, hear this voice, hear the sound, a song of my family, one of our best, Miss Julie, Julianne
Oh,
Delilah Bell.
that's right. That's
Take,
me.
take it away, cousin.
All right. This is for all of y'all. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on let me stand. I am tired. I am weak. I am worn through the storm, through the night. Precious Lord, be by my side. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on.
Julie, um, I've even told you this. Not certainly not the last time I heard you sing, and not the first or even the earliest, but somewhere in the middle, um, Oliver died.
Yeah.
And at that funeral, Eva, my little sister Eva, those of you who she sang
Yes.
with me, and I did much of Eva and I sang. Did we sing it together, or did I had a song called "With Her"? We shall cry with her. We say goodbye, love. We know our goodbye, nothing. And I remember that at that funeral, like all of them.
All of them, yeah. We had a
I
lot, cousin.
a lot. You sang, of course. I sang, and I listened to you, and I listened to Vic. Well, I listened to you, and Vic, of course, does the solo in my tribute. And I remember thinking, I want my voices to sound like that. So
I
when we
know.
were much younger, and I heard you, my older cousin sing, I've been modeling what I do after some of the things you do as well. And I want you to know you've influenced me as I go. Thank you for that,
Oh, thank you, cousin. I want to sound like your mother.
cousin. Me too.
Ima- Imagine that. It's which is the stages. I was watching her, and then you guys came through, and I
Hmm.
just remember what, and she just, it was like, I'm like, my cousin's an angel for real. It was her, it's her voice. I mean, Aunt Ollie was here, which I knew I would never sound like. I just,
Grandma.
when she opened her mouth, and then Aletta would just float through. Like, where's it coming from? I mean, it's,
Mom's
I
voice.
can't watch them the same. I thank you, cousin.
Mom's voice is big like grandmom's, but
Yes.
it's I don't know.
I can't,
I don't know what to say. You're right. It just caught
there's
it.
nothing, there's nothing we can say. Because if you've never heard it, it people say, oh, you hear a voice of an angel all the time. No, when she sings peace, peace, it's like you melt.
From the
Oh,
Father above.
yes.
Mm. Mommy and Poppy's anniversary concert. Remember when the family toured together? Remember when we
Yes,
gave concerts?
we sure did.
We're gonna
It
do it
was.
again.
We're gonna do it again. We should put our lists together, do our tribute to our ancestors, and just do it. Just sing their favorites.
Y'all better watch out because you've gotten
It's
us
coming,
thinking.
man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, y'all stuck with us. You stuck with me.
yeah. You're stuck with much more.
Yeah.
We've got Vic coming down for a concert next summer, Julie. So we're gonna get you up there. All of us come together. That'll be an opportunity.
We're gonna be background watch. We will do
Yeah.
wop with Vic.
If he tries to get me off the stage, it's my stage.
Absolutely. He's gonna be like, that's just leave him right there. Just give her a
I'm just
tambourine. She's okay.
go. Well, Julie, I've enjoyed our time together.
I have. I
I
wish I
miss
was
you up here.
there.
You're gonna come up. I've got you've got to come see this exhibition up here, and we've got many more. And you just a couple
I'm
hours.
coming. I got to come get some meatballs.
Meatball, and I've got to make you a cobbler.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull one in the oven for Victoria this weekend. I owe her. She wants an
Oh,
apple.
that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Love life, love life, and song.
Yes.
Well, that's the episode for tonight, and I'm gonna tell you, y'all. This has been a ride getting through this first season of a virtual jazz series. I don't know anything about television or film, and I've been doing my best to try and work it out.
And you are doing it.
Come up
We
next week.
appreciate it. We do.
And I appreciate y'all tuning in, the help from the loves of my life helping me. Next week, audience, we change up the vibe a little bit. We're going to be giving you even more music, some more time together. One of Richmond's very own, Desiree Roots, joins us, giving us an evening of the incomparable Nina Simone. And as an extra special bonus, you even get to hear the voice, my very own mother, during the program. You'll get to hear her. Really? And because I love y'all so much, I'm going to sing something that you've never heard out of me. Not even Julie, you've never heard it out of me. But we're going to give you all Nina all night long. You'll see a new format out of us and get comfortable because we'll live there together until we can live and love together in person.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
So, as I always say to my audience, thank you so much for loving with us. Thank you so much for listening to us. We're on this journey. We'll love together, we'll hurt together, and we'll heal together.
And we will have a reunion together.
We will celebrate.
We are okay, y'all. We are okay.
Eat, drink, and be merry together. Mm-hmm. Well, tonight Julie is outside in Raleigh, North Carolina, and you have been welcomed into my home for this episode. Behind me, my little living room space. But from Richmond, Virginia, and for the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, this has been the Dominion Energy Virtual Jazz Cafe. Thank you for loving with us. Thank you, Julie, for being with us.
Thank you, cousin. Thank you, family.
Thank you all. We are going to say our adieus. Good night.
Good night.